You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Stop our show.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Hot Take Hot Box. That's right, we are back. Here to talk about our Philadelphia Eagles. We have a playoff game coming up this weekend, Ty. I don't know if you're too excited about it. I know I guess I'm kind of excited, but I'm not there yet. We're gonna get there by the end of this podcast. This is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. Ty, how are you feeling? Listen, we're gonna get right into it, I guess. But this has been a rough couple months here as an Eagles fan.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to predict a loss for Monday so they can win or something. I'm not sure because
you'll see where I'm going with this.
we keep saying we're gonna win this one. We can't lose this game after losing that game But it's been a downhill spiral since I went to the Chiefs game. It's been all bad news. We could have lost to the Bills, went to OT, pulled that game out, and then from that point on, just bad news, Bears. Losing the Niners badly, getting smoked by the Cowboys, losing to the Seahawks, 92-yard drive from Drew Lock. The Giants almost coming back and beating us despite playing musical chairs at quarterback. And then a couple weeks later, actually beating us despite playing musical chairs at quarterback again. This game was...
The Cardinals just clapping us.
And the Cardinals clapping our cheeks. This game was... we got outgained 415 to 299, and I don't even know if it was that close. I keep seeing people talking about, like, Jalen's got to be better. I don't think he was really –
of course he's got to be better, but it's not.
The game was just – it seemed like it never started for us. Like, we didn't know when kickoff was. There's really not much to take from this performance because it was over so quickly. The fact that we were waving the white flag and removing all of our starters while the first half still had some time on the clock is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. We couldn't get a drive going. We went 3 and out, fumble, turnover on downs, 3 and out, pick, and a half. So that was just, I don't know what else really to say about the performance. It's just another... I'm just glad the season's over. I'm glad the regular season's over. Hopefully we can get some guys healthy. I don't even know if we can get anybody healthy by Monday. I don't know what the status of Slay, Devontae, AJ, who else was banged up? Sidney Brown's done, so that was awesome.
That's
one of our more promising players who actually showed heart, showed effort, and was even calling out the coaching staff of how we're not really going hard in practice and shit like that. Now he's done, so I don't really know. It would be nice if Kevin Byard made his impact felt because I haven't really, I forgot all about him, honestly. It would be nice for Slay to come back. We desperately need him. Jalen Carter had another great game. I guess that's the only thing you can really take from this game was that Jalen Carter yet again led the team. Was the only one on the team that really showed up, that did anything. Notably anyway, and I really think he can be a huge part. Him and BG, and maybe somebody on the edge, Hassan, maybe Milton Williams up front. Maybe Nolan Smith can have a breakthrough game. Maybe we can blitz like a defensive back or somebody, a linebacker, an outside linebacker. Somebody. We need some pressure from somebody. Jalen Carter had like almost a third of our pressures against the Giants that game. 5 hurries. We only had 14 total. And how many sacks? Do we have any sacks? Keely Ringo and Marlon T had a sack. So it's just not it's not looking good. I have questions and concerns about the offense, but it really just comes down to the defense. And I don't know how well, like if Baker's on, Baker's a very sporadic player, very inconsistent QB, but this year he's been pretty consistent. He's had some highs, he's had some lows. I think the lows came in division games. It's going to be a big game, obviously. I don't know. I don't trust him fully, but then again, you're looking at a team that just lost to the Giants after losing to the Cardinals, so I'm not sure if you can trust us either. It's kind of a weird game to predict. A lot of people are going to be on the Bucs, and I understand, but I don't know if I'm all in yet. I know they're underdogs at home, which is also a little questionable, but I still think we can pull this out. I still think we have enough on the front line and on offense and defense to at least make Baker panic. When Baker Mayfield, kind of like Jared Goff, does not play well under pressure, and the main problem with him is he's so short. When there's pressure and all that going on, he's not that mobile. Just ask the Norman police about that.
Jesus.
So I really think this is obtainable. I think we can win this fucking game. Like Evans, Godwin, they're both they're fine, but they both seem like they're not in their prime anymore. Or at least they're not at their peak. Rashad White's decent, but again, I think we should stop the run game and get some pressure on Baker. I really think this is a good matchup for us. However, I don't even know if there is a good matchup for us anymore. Like, are we going to flip that switch and be like, okay, now it's playoffs, the regular season's over, fuck it. This is where our guys are going to show up. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, we'll give the Buccaneers game its full attention. I would like to I guess I really don't want to spend too much time on the Giants game because really, what can you spend time on? I don't get why they even played the starters if this was going to be the thought process going into the game. It didn't seem like any of them cared. They played some of them and they sat some of them, right? It's because Fletcher Cox wasn't playing. I think Slay's hurt, so he didn't play. I think that was the deal there. But it kind of seemed like they were half in, half out, which is never a recipe for success. DeAndre Swift didn't play. I remember seeing that as well. But you got guys like Avonte Maddox who were fighting for their lives out there injured. Devontae Smith didn't play. Hassan Reddick didn't play, right?
He did. He played 26 snaps, and he had a Pro Football Focus grade of 53.5. So basically, did nothing.
So he basically
pass rush grade 49.4. That shows that he didn't even try. He was just also the fact that we kept dropping him into coverage. I don't know if we kept dropping.
First play of the game.
Yeah, he had 2 coverage snaps. I thought Josh Sweat had 1, and Nolan Smith had 4. Why are these guys dropping coverage ever? You're asking them to do something they've never done. I don't quite understand what we're doing here on defense. And I guess Patricia's still the guy, right? Is he still calling plays?
That's okay. What I guess that's what's going on. But look, you bring your AJ Brown goes down in the first series of the game, first or second series of the game, grabbing his knee. You instantly think the worst. Oh, this is over or whatever. But then he just then he's good. Now there's not even a conversation that he's going to miss this game. He's fine. So
thank God.
Did he actually was he actually hurt or was he just did he get scared and was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not playing. So
I see this field that we're playing on.
Yeah,
I see this turf.
And I don't blame the guy. I'm not. Don't take that as a disrespect or anything like that. I'm just saying it as you go from one extreme to the other. It's pretty insane. Jalen hurts his finger, dislocates his middle finger or his ring finger on his right hand. No, that's not good, but then I can't stand though when something happens with Jalen that after the game, he's talking to the media and he can't help himself but act like what he's going through is the absolute worst thing ever. They're like, well, you talked to Nick Sirianni before that, and he's like, yeah, he was ripping it, he was good to go, he was fine. Then they talk to Jalen, he's like, well, we're going to have to see what happens. You're like, what? Are you good or are you not? He's like, well, day by day, the lion roars, but the hyenas are quiet. You're like, what? What the fuck are you talking about, Jalen? What are you talking about? Are you okay or are you not? But, that was kind of the frustration. I was, screaming at the TV watching the post-game live because it was some of the interviews were just so ridiculous. I love all of the excuses, Ty. That is what's cracking me up about all you people out there on Twitter who are will make excuse after excuse after excuse for all of the people that are involved in this travesty and this disgrace that has turned into our Philadelphia Eagles. They're not sandbagging, okay? They're not, waiting for the playoffs and they're just going to turn it on, They're not tired, okay, because, they're the only team that played to the Super Bowl last year because they played, one more game than the 49ers did last year, and the Niners got the bye. So, What exactly is that? What is that? What does that have anything to do with anything? Nothing, exactly. You have Quez Watkins makes it probably his best play as an Eagle in this game.
I mean,
I,
just the
I did want to point that
time we
out.
need him the least.
Yes.
He balls out. He makes his catch, and you're like, yo, where was this in the Super Bowl when you just needed to make a catch? Where was this any week where we just need you to get open? That's all we needed. Just be alive, be a warm body. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna wait till the game really doesn't matter and just ball out and show. Like, come on, bro. What is he showing out for the XFL, the USL, the UFL? What's it called?
UFL now.
UFL. Is he showing out? Because I think he might get a top 5 pick in that.
I'll be playing for the Panthers next year or something like that. He'll probably he'll probably be a great fantasy option next year because he looked elite catching that ball. But if you ever watch the guy play any other snap, it was like, well, maybe he's not the guy. I mean, you got to see Mariota in this game, which ugly. Rashad Penny at least got to play in this game, which good for him.
Yeah, he played 20 snaps, got his fix in. I don't know what a waste of a contract that was.
Let me just say, though, Ty, the Eagles are in trouble, though, because when the starters were in this game, Wink Martindale was just spamming blitzes again, and we had no idea what to do with it. Like, part of this is the coaching staff. We're going to get into the coaching staff, but I would like to focus a little bit of blame on Jalen because, Jalen has regressed tremendously. So, like he has turned into a mediocre quarterback this season. If you look at every statistical category that matters to quarterbacks, I'm pretty sure he's in the, from 10 to 20 range, which is, the average quarterback in the NFL, pretty much. He's got all the A+ skills that you could imagine, but he has not performed well at all this year. He has not overcome any of the bad coaching. So if you think the coaches should come back, if you think Nick Sirianni should come back, if you think Brian Johnson should come back, which I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that believe that the offense is good. They'll show you that, well, we're the 6th-ranked offense. We did this, we did that. If you really believe that, then truly Jalen's not that good. Like, it's one or the other. Either Jalen's good and the coaching has been horrible, or Jalen's not that good, and he's just the coaching has been fine. It's just that he's not that good. One or the other. You have to pick. So, you all you people out there, you can make that decision for me. At the end of the day, the Eagles got smoked in this game. The Giants. I love how not the Giants. The Cowboys. They were Sirianni saying he was scoreboard watching, and he was looking to see how that game was going. That had nothing. Like, that's a lie. They were down by like 7, and he had taken all the starters out. We were getting clapped, dude. The
Commanders were winning at one point. They were 10-7 at one point, and I'm like, okay, like we're down 10-0 or we're down 17-0, but all we have to do is. I didn't think the Commanders were ever going to win for a second. I mean, that is just a pathetic team they have up there. But they were winning. So there was there's no way you say, all right, guys, we're not going to try here because we know Dallas is actually going to lose, even though they're not losing. We couldn't beat the Giants is the problem. Even if Dallas had lost, do you think we would have won? Fuck no.
No.
So I agree 100%.
I just like. I like that. I don't get. Like, does he think that we are stupid? Is that what this is? Like, Sirianni thinks that the fan base here is a bunch of morons, that we didn't understand what was actually happening. That you guys, it seemed like came in and thought you were gonna play hard for this game and win, and you just pulled the eject cord immediately as soon as things weren't going. I mean, dude. They were just getting dog walked up and down the field. I was like, wow, like this is pretty crazy, man. Like for a team that is fighting to, get this thing right, to try to, right the ship and just get some sort of confidence or momentum going into the playoffs, for them to come out and just get mollywopped like that is like real and eye-opening. I mean, we kept, like you said, saying, week after week after bad performance after bad performance. Well, next week they'll get it right. Next week will be the week where they, we can make this right. We'll figure this out. It'll be something that will happen, or we will figure this out. We never did, Ty. We never did, and it's just now here we are. We're gonna talk about that soon, but it's just we are in bad shape. And I don't see how this thing just gets rectified in 1 week.
No, me either. The only hope we have is that now they can focus. And I don't know why they weren't before. I don't know. I don't want to make any excuses for the regular season or any excuses as to why they didn't try as hard or why the effort was low or maybe they were preserving the gas tank. A bunch of bullshit. It sounds like, I know, but that's the only hope, right? I mean, it's not like we're getting healthy. It's not like we're getting really any reinforcements. I mean, again, I don't know about some of these guys. I guess we'll have to see if they're practicing this week. Are we even practicing? Is Darius Slay practicing? I don't even know. I haven't really kept up with the practice report.
I'm not sure though.
Or injury report.
Wednesday it would be their first day of actual practice.
Okay, so that's something to monitor going for. I mean, for what it's worth, our highest graded player on defense was Jalen Carter, but then it was Tristan McCollum. First game all year. He played 29 snaps at safety, 76.6. I know it's garbage time, so who cares? But maybe he should play. Maybe you put him out there at safety. Maybe he can make something work. Our lowest two graded players, Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow. So, and then on offense, also, I mean, real quick, Sidney Brown only played 2 snaps before tearing his ACL. I did not even know that. I thought it was in the second or third quarter. I don't know. I wasn't even really watching. Let's be honest.
Well, at a certain point, it was it was on, but I wasn't really paying attention. Like I was just I was stewing watching the game, just like I can't believe that this is happening. I cannot believe that they are getting smoked like this. And it's not it wasn't the end of the world because it wound up not mattering. But that's not the point at this stage of the game. It's not about them, winning or getting into, advancing seed or anything like that. They just need to play well. We've been saying this for a month. And I hate you people out there that keep making excuses for them. I hate you.
Terrible. Also, we didn't really have any big plays. Kenneth Gainwell held that 32-yard run. Other than that, nothing. Britton Covey had a 22-yard reception. But, I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson was breaking us off every other play. Darius Slayton continues to fucking own us.
Yep.
Saquon had a big play in the pass game. He didn't do anything in the running game. So at least there's that, right? He had 18 carries, 46 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns, but nothing really there. Eric Gray, whenever he came in, had a couple big plays. Isaiah Hodgins and Darren Waller as well. So that's the big thing. I mean, we're not making big plays. We're not producing big plays. We're giving up big plays. We're not creating turnovers. We're turning the ball over. So that's not good. Not good, I guess. I mean, the trends have not been well to us. I mean, it just keeps getting worse. Let's see what their third down numbers were. I can only imagine what they were on third down. Yeah, they were 6 of 14, so almost 50%. We've been hovering at that 45, 52% range all year. Last year we were, I think, 38 or 42. So the turnover differential, look at the point differential. We have a negative point differential on the season. Guys, that is no accident. That is actually it's +5. Okay, I was lied to. I guess we scored a touchdown. The Quez Watkins touchdown put us in the green. So, but look at all these playoff teams and look at all these teams that people are like, all right, these are the Super Bowl contenders, right? These are the guys. These are the teams to watch out for. Baltimore leading the league at +203 point differential. Dallas +194. San Fran +193. Even Miami +105. Buffalo +140. We're at +5, right with the Jaguars. Even the Bucks are at +23. So I don't think there's any reason to have any hope for this team to win. You're going on the road. I don't even know if it mattered if we were at home. I still wouldn't even really pick us, I don't think. If you look at Baker Mayfield's having a better year than Jalen Hurts. Rashad White, I don't think he's having a better year than Swift, but their run game and they're mixing in their running backs in their pass game is working really well. We have AJ and Devontae, but they have good receivers, right? So they're working a really productive offense. They have a really good offensive coordinator who's going to get some head coach looks. Dave Canales. I don't know how to say it, but and meanwhile we have Brian Johnson who just got a pity interview for I think the Panthers head coaching. I think that was probably just the Rooney Rule, or maybe they're just bored. Maybe they're like, let's bring this joker in. Tampa has pretty good coaches. We don't. So I think that's also going to matter. And obviously being at home, the cannons are going to be blasting. I'm going to be getting trolled by all the Tampa fans. So that should be fun. But for some reason, I still have hope. Am I crazy, Matt, for having just a little bit?
No, listen, you're a fan. At the end of the day, it's by the time Monday rolls around, I'll be back. I'll be not believing in them, but I'll be rooting for them. That's the hope is part of that. You start to be like, all right, well, of course we can We can beat anybody. We can. That's why we wouldn't be this upset about the team if we didn't have the talent and the capabilities to win some of these games. If last year's Eagles team had been, coming into Tampa Bay, maybe guys got injured or things weren't going their way, I would have been like, we're going to smoke Tampa Bay. Like, it would have been no doubt in my mind. This year, I just don't. It's just something's missing. I don't get exactly what it is, but this team is just not that team. It's really that has just been the thing. This whole year, I can't get over the fact that they are just constantly underperforming every single week. Now, of course, they can win this game. It's Baker Mayfield they're playing. If they can shut the run down and make Baker Mayfield throw the ball, and I guess we can get to Baker Mayfield because he's a little banged up right now. I'm pretty sure he's dealing with a rib injury, right? And then there was he was limping around last week.
I think it was the Saints game, right? He got fucking popped. So,
yeah.
Listen, this is the big game for Jalen Carter. Honestly, I think this is the Jalen Carter game. I think he's going to be disruptive. Cody
and
Mock,
Reddick. I need
Luke
Reddick
Goedeke.
to get some fucking heat on the right side.
Him or Sweat, somebody coming off the edge. I don't care which fucking one it is. Just somebody. I don't give a fuck. Just bring in Tristan McCollum and send him on a blitz. I could not care less. Send somebody on a blitz around the outside and hope that somebody on the interior, maybe Fletch can do something, maybe BG can do something, but have Jalen Carter have that push up front. The Buccaneers, let's try to bring up, I have like 7,000 tabs open. It's actually kind of sad. I have a tab open. I have a tab open, right? It's a Wikipedia page of the Gaza Strip. Like, I don't even know what I was trying to. I was just down a wormhole, a rabbit hole of the Gaza Strip. I was like, "Yo, I will go over there and help you." No, but if you look at Tampa's offensive line all year, it's really struggled. I mean, Tristan Wirfs, one of the best tackles in football for sure. Luke Goedeke, the other tackles, had a decent year.
Yeah,
but Aaron Stinney is one of their guards. Their other guard, I guess Cody Mock. He's their lowest graded player on their entire offense, 44.7. Multiple penalties, a bunch of sacks given up. Doesn't really do well in the run game. Their center, I think, is Robert Hainsey. He's old. He hasn't had a good year. That is exactly where we should shred them. And I've noticed in games where Rachaad White does well, it's kind of running outside. And obviously, we've had a lot of problems containing and setting the edge. So that's going to be an issue. But if they try to run up the middle, if they try to do anything like that, some play action fakes, I think we should have huge, maybe not huge, but we should have a decent amount of success up front, going up the middle. Jalen Carter ripping through the middle, ripping through the front, the center, the guards for Tampa. I think that should 100% be our move. Just not send the house. I don't know if we have the personnel to do that, but send the blitz up front, heavy on the front, and hope our guys can win on the edge and just collapse that pocket so Baker, get him jittery, get him with the happy feet, make him panic and throw something up where he thinks he can throw it up to Mike Evans and then turn the ball over. That's really what we're going to have to do. Win the turnover battle, win the battle up front. These are the things we have said every single week.
Yeah, that's what I'm listening to you, and I'm like, dude.
I know. I'm saying it. I'm like, I definitely said this every week prior to this week, but I'm hoping something flips in these guys' heads and they're like, all right, this is the playoffs. Like, this is not a time to fuck around. This is where the coaches and the players, maybe before the game, Howie Roseman comes in the locker room or Jeffrey Lurie and I know it sounds corny, but gives like a motivational speech or something just to, show their presence and show them like, yo, everybody's honestly counting us out. I know we're the underdog. I know we're the favorites, but we're also kind of the underdogs. Like, we're going to be a very popular fade on Monday night. 1 million. I've already seen a bunch of betting people talk about how they're hammering the Bucks, and I get it, but I don't think there's no reason that this team can't win this game. So I will be very, very upset and disappointed if they come out here with another lackluster performance or they lose a close game. I don't care how they lose. It could be a blowout and then they come back, or it could be a close game, overtime. I don't care. They need to win. They need to win this game. If they do not, there's gonna be a lot of I think fresh faces around this team next year. I think Sirianni's probably gone. We saw Pete Carroll got not fired, but he got the axe. I think Belichick is probably just days away from Belichick getting the official axe. I've seen some other teams and names out there. I mean, there's already 6, 7 vacancies. There could definitely be 10. Matt Eberflus probably should have gotten the axe. I can't believe he's still in Chicago.
That's pretty crazy.
So, and I know it'll probably come to a shock to people if we do fire Nick Sirianni if we lose to Tampa, but they shouldn't be. I mean, 1 year removed from the Super Bowl or not, if you're not, this is a what have you done for me lately kind of league. And if you're just not, after the season we had, the start to the season, if you're not going to be able to rally this group of talented individuals, you have a good mix of old and young. If you can't rally them to win a game against the Bucs, who really have showed a lot of times this year that they have no life on offense sometimes. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, allegedly, I would bet the under in this game 100%. I think it's going to be a low scoring, just disgusting punt fest. Braden Mann, hope you got your leg ready, buddy. But maybe Jake Elliott can win us a game. Jake Elliott, Jalen Carter, AJ Brown, those are the three guys to watch, in my opinion.
So, yeah, look, they have the thing that scares me about the Buccaneers is they have a lot of weapons. You know, they got the Rashad Whites, the Chris Godwins, the Mike Evans, you know. That is concerning in itself because Bradbury's going to have to cover somebody.
Yeah,
that just worries me.
Eli Ricks too.
That alone, yeah, you're going to have those guys out there guarding somebody, and if we can't get pressure on Baker Mayfield, he's not exactly Tom Brady, but he's an NFL quarterback. He'll be able to find these guys, and he could be able to spring them for big plays. I think I say this every week, and it seems like they just can't do it anymore. Which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they have to stop the run. That's where this all starts. Because once the run gets going, then they can go run them play actions, or they can just kind of have you on your heels, get all tired, and then they just start doing whatever they want to us. And we don't want to make them guys in the secondary tackle, because Darius Slay don't want to tackle. We know that. None of them guys out there really want to tackle, other than Reed Blankenship, who hurts himself every time he's trying to make a tackle. So
it's all fucked.
I don't want anything to do with that. I do think our offense is screwed. I think the scheme, the game planning every week, it doesn't matter what they want to blame it on. Sirianni tries to blame it on the game plan every week. Well, it stinks every week. So what are you going to do to switch or change it? And they haven't done anything to change it at all. So
I have a question, Matt, real quick.
Sure.
Do you think Sean Desai should be let off the hook for the absolute awful we're giving up a couple more points per game with Patricia, but we're giving up less yards technically.
No, those people, I had a kid that was on my Twitter say that the Eagles would have won the Cardinals and Seahawks game had Sean Desai been the defensive coordinator, and I'm like,
hilarious.
What?
When you have no,
we're talking about a guy who was just getting 40 burgers hung up on him, and those are better teams, but still. What are we talking? I don't think it's much to do with any of them. The defense just got old overnight. I think that's a lot of what it came down to, and I think the defensive line that's what's really killed this team. It has been the Achilles heel because they were the team. They were the thing that carried us last year. They had 70 sacks. They had 4 guys, I'm pretty sure, in double-digit sack numbers last year. And they have just not been able to get to the quarterback. They have not been able to put the pressure that they were last year. And sometimes it's them, and sometimes it's the fact that with that, the ball is just coming out immediately, and our cornerbacks are playing 8, 9, 10 yards off the ball, and they're just getting these easy completions time after time after time after time. So it's
time after time.
When you call, I will catch you waiting. All right. So listen.
So I guess
to close out the Eagles Buccaneers thing real quick, I would like to say I'm with you. I would like to have faith. I'd like to say yes. I agree. The Eagles are going to take care of business. They're going to get out of there with the W, and they are going to move on to probably play the 49ers next week in San Francisco. But Ty, I'm not doing that. I am going to pick the Buccaneers to win this game. They are going to win 24-17. And that is the Buccaneers moving on to play whoever the fuck they're going to play.
Probably the Niners to get shit smacked. I'm going to say Bucs win 20-17. I just don't have any faith that this team can win a game, honestly. I think Matt Gay is going to hit that game winner. Who's their kicker? Not sure anymore, actually. Matt Gay's on the Colts. I don't trust him at all. Close game, beginning of a game, the middle parts of the game, crunch time, 3rd down, 4th down. There's no area of this team of the game that I trust this team just whatsoever.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Edmonds, the ghost of Chase Edmonds, is out here and he had like 4 carries for 50 yards. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought out Sean Tucker from the practice squad and he had a rushing touchdown. Like, truly, I think we match up well with them. They only had 2 guys who had more than 500 yards receiving. 3, if you count Rashad White. And then after only 2 receivers that had 400 yards. Trey Palmer, he's a deep threat. LSU made. Nebraska developed, but still, like I'm just looking at a team that is not impressing me very much.
No,
sadly, I just don't know. I don't know what we do because apparently, I forgot that Cam Jurgens got hurt. His eye is hurt, and then I saw Kelsey was in a brace. DeAndre Swift, I guess he was sick, right? He had an illness, sure.
Yeah. Fletcher Cox was hurt too, or something. Or I think he was just getting sat for,
because he stinks. That's why.
Tired,
but also
whatever.
Todd Bowles' scheme on defense is definitely something to worry about. I mean, we just faced Wink Martindale, who, by the way, left the Giants facility. Said, "Yo, I'm leaving. I'm going home to Florida. I don't want to fuck with you anymore, Brian Daboll." Like that's what's unraveling in the Giants facility. Their DC and head coach are trying to kill each other. And we knew Wink Martindale. What does Wink Martindale do on defense? Why is he a D coordinator? Blitzed. All the fuck he does, and it worked. He sent the house on like 60% of Jalen Hurts' dropbacks. And I think he was 5 of 14. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, 5 of 14 with a pick. 5 of 12, 41 yards and a pick. Terrible. How are we not knowing that's going to come here? I see people saying, Jalen, you got to know. You got to know they're sending the blitz. I'm like, sure, yeah, he's supposed to know that. But what about the coordinators? What about the coaches that are supposed to be getting these players prepared? They're the ones doing all the film study, all the tape study. They know this team that we just played them 3 weeks ago. So how do we not know that they're going to send the house? Todd Bowles probably a better defensive mind than Wink Martindale, or at least close. So that's going to be an issue. They have all-pro player in Antoine Winfield, who creates havoc everywhere all over the field. Levante Davids, Hall of Famer, possibly. Devin White, not great, but he can make some splash plays. I don't think who else they really have. That's Vita Vea makes a lot of disruption up front. Shaq Barrett, very on and off, inconsistent off the edge, but their corners are pretty good. Jamel Dean, I don't know if he's playing. I mean,
this team won the they won the Super Bowl all not that long ago. I mean, it was 2020, 2021, but
21.
Yeah. But still, like that, those are some Super Bowl winning players on that defense. So we can't just. I just can't understand who people out there who think that the Eagles are just going to win this game. Like there's they have no doubt in their mind. Like, oh, it's the Bucs. We beat them week 3. Those Bucs were a lot different, and those Eagles were a lot different than the 2 teams that are coming into Raymond James Stadium this weekend. It is a whole different ball game, and my pick is more anti-Eagles than it is pro-Bucs. I don't think the Bucs are really that good. I just think the Eagles have just fallen apart. And they're just – I think that this is the final nail in the coffin for a certain gentleman who we are going to give a certain amount of time to right now. And I guess we should just kind of get right into it, though. Ty, do you think that Nick Sirianni should or will be fired? But you can answer either part of that question after this game if they lose. I think if they – I know it's – people were like, well, their mind should be made up if they before this, if they win or lose.
Sure.
But
this is different.
If they win, you can't really justify firing them. If they lose, I think you can.
Especially with the possibility, I know it's very, very unlikely, very impossible. The possibility of going on a run after beating Tampa, it could happen. I mean,
of course.
How many people thought the Giants were going to go on a run when they won both of their Super Bowls when they were 8-8 and 9-7? Not trying to make any comparisons at all. I'm just saying, the playoffs are a very different thing. It's a whole different season from the regular season. So, look at the MLB playoffs. Again, I'm not trying to compare, playoffs to playoffs, but random shit happens in the playoffs all across sports at the highest level. So I would not be surprised if this team went on a run. I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be floored, is what I should say. And if they beat Tampa, why? I mean, you never know. So he's definitely not getting fired if they win 1 game or 2 or 3 or however many. But if they lose to Tampa, no matter how they lose, they get blown out, they lose a close one, they get walked off. I think he should be fired, and I'm kind of on the fence if he will. I think they might give him another year. Like if they get blown out in the game, I think there's a chance he's gone. If it's close, if we could have won, if we had more yards, just bad refs or a turnover here and there, maybe Howie Roseman gives him another chance and says, "No, we just got to get better coaches. Let's get a couple new players in here. Let's make some trades. Let's have a good draft class." Maybe they keep him around, but honestly, I would not. If they lose in any capacity to Tampa Bay, I would not keep him around. I'm sorry. I know it seems a little quick, but this league moves quick. Pete Carroll, Mike Vrabel, a lot of people didn't think they'd be gone, but they are. Mike Tomlin almost could have been gone. There's probably other guys who are going to be gone. That's just how this league goes. Things move quickly. So maybe they want Harbaugh. Maybe they want Belichick. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. Ben Johnson. There's a lot of good assistants out there that could be up for potential head coaching jobs. So maybe that could be something to do. Ryan Grubb, the guy I was saying we should bring in as OC from Washington. He didn't have a great job. He didn't have a great showing in the national championship. So maybe I should pump the brakes there. But either way, if he does lose that game, yeah, I think he should be canned.
I mean, your boy Grubb, I don't think he did that bad because your Michael Penix was kind of just missing some guys at a certain point.
Absolutely.
And there was people just dropping passes too, which was insane. But that guy, he was wide open, and he just gets turned around and falls down on the play that really
Dunze.
just kind of ruined them. But
he blamed himself, but we know he's a top 10 pick. That is not his fault.
Yeah, I mean, it shit happens. That congrats to Michigan, by the way. But
great team.
I think when you just completely lose control of your I guess it is in a sense you're losing control of the team because they just collapsed. I believe they're 1-6 in their last 7 games. Is that 1-5? I'm not sure exactly the number. I don't know, but it's really tough to just justify if they lose this game. And he loses 6 of his last 7 games, and they were 11-1 or 10-1.
That's a fireable offense.
It has to be a fireable offense. I don't care what you did last year. It's just like I have a tough time just.
He's not going to win back any of that locker room if they lose. He's going to lose more of that locker room if he hasn't already. It's really hard for us to tell.
What does he do, Ty? That's what I like. People keep telling me, you give him credit when he wins. It's like it's all the play callers and all this. But when they lose, everyone wants to blame him. But the thing about being the coach is when you're losing, you have to do something to change, to adjust or change that. He has done really nothing. I don't think it was his call to fire Sean Desai or remove him from the position. I think that came from the higher-ups because early in that week he said, no, we're not making any changes. 2 days later he goes, we're going to make a change. I had the decision during the week, and I think that this is our best option to move forward. That's obviously not coming from him. If anybody was really using their heads, he would have taken the play calling from Brian Johnson a long time ago and ran his scheme, his game plan, his whatever. He is the offensive head coach. If you're the offensive head coach and you can't even call plays, really what are you doing here? Because
what is the point?
What is the point?
What are you doing?
You can't get people in the right position. You can't hire the right coaches, or everyone's like, I love how the blame gets passed around whenever it's convenient for a certain argument, because now it's all Howie Roseman again. That's where we're throwing the blame back. It's not the fact that Nick Sirianni just hasn't been able to do his job well this season. It's the fact that Howie Roseman hired bad coordinators for him. He didn't get the coordinators that he wanted. He had to hire from within. He didn't have to do shit. He could have done whatever he wanted. They're like, oh, well, he gets credit because he hired Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. He's the one that brought them in. He didn't bring in Sean Desai. He absolutely was a part of it. And I'll give them credit because they were able to get, a Shane Steichen is probably one of the best coordinators we've had in a very long time.
Yep.
They were able to get a guy like that in here, but you should have just taken. Why aren't we just running the exact same offense that we ran last year? Can you help me with that? Because I don't get why.
I don't know.
What is did that guy take the playbook and we're trying to we're snapping what were we running last year? What was the RPO or why the fuck are we so confused every single week? No one's executing. No one's doing it. No one knows where they're supposed to be. No one believes in this or believes in that, or they're all upset. Yeah, you absolutely
Nobody's
should
on the
be
same
fired.
page.
What is going to change next year is my problem. Like, what can they do? Who are they going to bring in here as the offensive coordinator who's going to revolutionize this team and change from what's been going on? I don't think anything. No one.
Yeah, I don't know who or what the answer is. You'd have to bring in I guess you'd have to bring in a whole new head coach,
A
Ben
whole new
Johnson,
culture,
somebody-
a whole new everything. It would have to be because
Yeah,
these guys,
it would have to be. Yeah, you can't.
it's rotted at the core, it seems.
We're not going to go out there and get an all-pro on offense, right? It's very unlikely. AJ Brown kind of just fell into our laps. The chances of upgrading your roster that significantly in an off season where I don't even think we have that much cap room. We have to keep some of our guys and re-sign guys and give new deals. I don't think we're at a point where we can just go out in free agency or on the trade block or in the draft and dominate and kind of just retool like it's college football where you have a bunch of 5-stars coming in, right? Or transfers. I don't think we're really in that. I don't think it's a likely outcome. I don't think, I think the roster we have now is mainly what we're going to have next year. And if it's the similar roster with the same head coach with maybe a couple tweaks on the staff, I don't know what that does. That brings me zero confidence. That instills zero confidence in the whole fan base. Not just me and you, two idiots up here with a podcast. Like, there's a lot of people, a lot of Italian fellas who don't want Sirianni back.
Yeah.
This Monday's huge. This is his biggest game of his career, I guess, besides the Super Bowl. This is his second biggest game of his career. And it could be even his biggest because his job could be on the line. I don't know if we'll ever know. And I feel like Howie might give him another year. I feel like he's more lenient, but also he's not scared to make a move when a move's needed, right? He hears the whispers and the loud yelling that's coming from us. He hears it. So, yeah, man, this is going to be really interesting. I don't even know what to think, what to predict. Like, people are going to ask me all week, what do you think? What do you think of this game? A bunch of people have already asked me, are you going? I will not be going. That's for sure. I'm not going to, shell out money I hardly even have to go to watch the Eagles embarrass me. I'm not doing that. So I will be watching
Monday
at home.
night.
Yeah, I'm good. Maybe I'll just sit at home. But I don't know, man. I really want to see how this team comes out and plays. If they play hard and just lose, then maybe this roster was just not what we thought it was. Maybe we really, truly just got lucky in the beginning of the year. There's a lot of people who said, our DVOA was one of the worst ever of a team that was 10-1, and a lot of us were like, "Oh, well, we're getting wins. It doesn't matter. Fuck your metrics and the computers." But then it turns out we really are that fraudulent of a team, and we always kind of were. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll see. I mean,
that's what hurts, honestly, Ty. Yeah. Like I sat here, argued against the 49ers and all those people and all those Cowboys fans, and told them, no, we are legit. We were in the Super Bowl last year. We've won 11 games. We find a way to win every week. We deserve the credit and respect. And they were like, dude, you guys are frauds. And they were right. That's the thing that kills me inside. So it's been hard to recover from that. I just don't see what the change, what Sirianni can do to make this right next year. That's what I don't understand. And I just truly don't get, if things aren't going to be going well at certain points for whatever side of the ball this is, that he can't do anything to change it. That's what I don't like. I don't get what he does then. Is he strictly just a cheerleader, a rah-rah guy? That's what it seems like.
Maybe he was the guy. It seemed like it all fell apart when his rah-rah came out when he was talking to Chiefs fans. Like, what was he saying? Where are you guys now? Where are you at?
I don't want to hear
what
shit.
What are you saying now?
Yeah,
I don't want to hear shit. Ever since that happened, it's been downhill.
Yeah, and I saw people were like, that's why we're losing. It's because of that. It's like, that's not it. It's because this guy's not really, we really don't have a good scheme.
Not built for it.
Yeah, we're not. He doesn't have. It's not he keeps saying it's his scheme. Like, what is his scheme? Like bubble screens and outside out routes and corner routes and stuff like that. Like, I don't get it. I don't see what it is. I think if he loses, he has to be fired. I really do. Yeah. I don't see how you can be 10-1 and then lose six of your last 7, lose your first playoff game, and then you can come back. Why? You're gonna bring a new offensive coordinator in? I mean, maybe, But I think just more of the locker room would be cooked at that point, and you would have to trade some people on your team.
Yep.
Because
Let some guys
I think
walk.
that's the bigger issue as well, Ty, is that it's not like me and you can't sit here and, especially on offense. Defense is one thing. Like that is a whole nother ball game, or like that's not his realm. They have stunk all year. We know that. The offense is supposed to be his thing. He's supposed to be an offensive head coach. He was an offensive coordinator. That's how he got hired to come here. The fact that the offense has been so inept and so unable to move the ball, score points, score in the red zone, all that stuff, and he has not been able to adjust or figure out a way with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and DeAndre Swift, and Jalen Hurts as his quarterback, just tells you everything you need to know. He should be fired, and they have to get somebody in here that can use the weapons that we have, because it's not like he has a barren cupboard that he's like having to figure out how to score with Nick Mullins, who guys across the NFL have way worse situations, and they're figuring out how to score points. We can't figure out how to score points? Come on. You use your head out there, people.
Yeah, so we played them earlier in the year and we won. It's a very different situation, but a very different scenario now. But we also owe them one, right? When was it? 04? No.
We played them pretty recently too. I mean, 21? We lost to them in the playoffs.
The
wild card.
Was that Hurts' rookie year?
Yep. Well, his second year, I guess. His first starting year. Yeah. Brady cooked us.
That's right. Fuck, I completely forgot that even happened. But before, I know we beat them in like 01 or 2000, but like I think there was 2006 they beat us in some game. I don't know.
03, I want to say, or 02 or 03 was the last game at Veterans Stadium. That's the Rondé Barber interception. That's the one that always sticks in people's brains. Here,
they also They also beat us in 06 in the regular season when Matt Bryant hit a 62-yarder. I feel like I remember that.
2002, by the way, was the 2002 season. It happened in 2003, though.
They have owned us for a while, it seems like. So we beat them this year, but that does not matter at all. And that was earlier in the year. We're a whole different team, so we owe them. We need to get us some get back. I mean, listen, this is a huge game for so many different people in this organization in many different ways. So they got to come up. They got to come out and nut up and get a fucking win. That's really all there is to it. Get some pressure and move the ball vertically. How about that? How about instead of throwing it behind the line of scrimmage and doing this and doing that, how about we just go downfield a little bit? Maybe just a little 5-yard slant. I feel like there's nothing wrong with a 5-10 yard slant, but it seems like we're allergic to those. So hopefully we can get some things going. Just Jalen can, hopefully his finger's fine because that didn't look good. He didn't break it, but he definitely popped it out of place. So hopefully guys are healthy. Again, I don't think we'll know until tomorrow when injury reports come out, it seems. So, yeah, we need all hands on deck, though, that's for sure.
For people out there who are looking for a little bit of hope and, just think that the Eagles could maybe go on a run, remember the 2008 Eagles who went on that just a miracle run to the NFC Championship game, beat the Vikings, beat the Giants, and then lost to the Cardinals in Arizona in that game where they were up and they kind of just folded in the fourth quarter. Larry Fitz caught that deep bomb. That was the Kurt Warner year where they played in the Steelers in the Super Bowl. I don't know if we would have won that anyway, but it's just all that matters is it is possible to go on a run. I'm not saying it's not, but it just things are not looking good right now, Ty. So I guess we should kind of talk about the Sixers for a little bit. The Sixers have once again fallen on hard times. Joel Embiid is injured again. He's got a swelling in his right knee, I think, or left knee. I'm not exactly sure which one. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Both, maybe.
Yeah, I mean the guy. Shout out to my boy Eric. Had this line yesterday in my group chat. That guy's knee swells when he gets out of bed in the morning. So it's just that's just something that guy has to deal with. He's going to miss his second straight game tonight with a swollen knee. People were talking about, he's going to get screwed out of the MVP. And, listen, man, if you miss 20-some games, you shouldn't win the MVP. I don't think that's all that crazy of a thing to have involved. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you can have one of the more historically statistical great seasons. That's great. But, it doesn't really matter. The MVP does not matter. It's all about him being healthy in the playoffs. We say this every single season. It doesn't really matter, though, because now when stuff like this happens, it starts to click back into my negative Sixers brain that just starts to say, well, there you go, same old Sixers. What else is new? Embiid's getting hurt down the stretch. This knee injury is probably going to just persist throughout the year. He'll be holding his knee or dragging it along come April. We'll win the first round playoff game. He'll miss the first 2 games like he always does of the second round, and then we wonder why we didn't win. Oh, wow, we lost in 7 games. We lost in 6 games, man. Oh, if only Embiid could stay healthy. It's the same conversation every year, and I know you were talking about how Maxey has kind of fallen on hard times as well. It just seems like
Well, yeah, I mean, most of the team, it seems like, without Embiid, I guess there's games where, you're like, oh, man, the ball moves so much more. It's like, yeah, it does, but, like, is that good? Because we're moving the ball from Nicholas Batum to Tyrese Maxey to Marcus Morris to Paul Reed to Kelly Oubre. I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, Patrick Beverly, his usage has gone way, way up. Again, I don't know if that's a good thing. Jaden Springer still can't see minutes. I don't know what the deal is with Jaden Springer. I think we have to play him or trade him. I mean, it seems like we do this all the time with like our mid to late first round picks. We're like, they're raw. We don't know what to do with them. They have a peanut allergy. Let's make a decision. Play him or don't.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Coming off a game where losing at home to the Utah Jazz, it just can't happen. I mean, without Embiid, Larry Markkinen 33 and 13, Colin Sexton 22 and 10. I don't know if that changes with Embiid. They're starting Chris Dunn, my cousin Simone Fontecchio. Like, they are just not a good team. They are just not a good. Kelly Olynyk's a pretty decent player. He didn't even really play much. Like, and then when we got absolutely destroyed by 38, 36 to the Knicks.
That was Julius Randle, one that really bothered me, man. That was
Julius Randle and OG Anunoby shot a combined 4 for 22. Isaiah Hartenstein, Jalen Brunson, even DiVincenzo, Miles McBride, who has hardly played all year. All of them teamed up to absolutely smoke us. Josh Hart tore down 15 boards. Like I said, Isaiah Hartenstein played awesome. He had like 5, a couple steals, a couple blocks. We just got and Embiid played most of that game against the Knicks. Played 36 minutes. So, and then if you look at the game before that, it was the Bulls game. Yeah, it's fine. And then if you look at a couple other games, they beat the Bulls after losing to the Bulls. But then they played a close one with the Rockets. They lost to the Heat.
That's when Joel was hurt, though. So like that, yeah. I get a lot of that. I'm more focused on those last 2 games. I don't understand how you have 3 days off. Wednesday, Thursday. You have 2 days off going into that Friday night game. ESPN game. Knicks coming to town.
Home.
Yep, at home. At OG Anunoby, all the hype behind them. It should be like a game you're excited to get up for, and they get smoked. They got smoked from, I believe, midway through the second. It was like, we're not winning this game. This is a loser. And that game, Joel got hurt in the first 5 seconds of the game. I swear to God, you got to go back and watch that. I was sitting there watching it, and I just said, no fucking way. All my friends were like, oh, he's fine. I'm like, dude. It's Joel Embiid. Yeah. The second he has the game, a little injury, he's done. He's done. He's
done. Yeah. It's funny because he played well-ish.
He did.
Right? He was 10 of 23. He was a minus 29, which is not great. But altogether as a team, I mean, at times you're running out Embiid, Maxey, Oubre, and then who are the other 2? Tobias and Batum, or Marcus Morris and Daniel House, or Paul Reed, or Beverly, or Bamba, and you're like, this is not an NBA. This is not an NBA conference champion roster. It just isn't. I look at the Celtics. I look at the Bucks. And the Bucks roster is not even that great since they traded for Lillard, which that move might end up backfiring. Who knows? But look at the Boston Celtics. I mean, they go deep, right? They got Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, White, Holiday, Sam Hauser, Pritchard. They don't go too deep, but they have enough guys off the bench that can come in and be a net positive. We absolutely do not. And don't look now, but the New York Knicks are right on our heels. 2 games back of us. The Heat, Pacers, and Cavaliers are 2.5 games back of us. Orlando is 3 games back. So, we're looking good, sitting pretty in third place. But that's we also have a couple games in hand on everybody, so that's not going to last too long. Eric Spoelstra just got a huge contract. Teams are going to be active in the trade market. I don't think the Knicks won that trade that they made, but they've been playing well with those guys, so it doesn't matter.
I think those guys fit their team more than R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly did. Yeah, like I think they
Which is
needed an
crazy
OG
'cause-
Anunoby kind of guy.
Yeah, which is crazy because watching the Raptors play last night, and they got absolutely. I had a couple underdog plays on Scotty Barnes. Shout out to Scotty, he came through. But they got absolutely hosed by Ben Taylor. If Ben Taylor ever did another Toronto Raptors game, and I was a fan, a player in the organization, I would boycott it. I would never. I would say we're not playing. We're not playing if Ben Taylor's the ref. Fred VanVleet went on a huge rant last year about Ben Taylor specifically, just a little nerdy white dude who he just sucks. He's just terrible. It's obvious he has some kind of bias against the Toronto Raptors, calling phantom fouls. Scotty Barnes hit a game tying 3 that he waved off on a charge on RJ Barrett where he hardly hit Anthony Davis, who flopped, and then a bunch of other just terribleness. But they have looked good with Quickly and with RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Siakam. They have a nice little combination of guys. It's not turning into automatic results, and I don't know if it will down the road. I think they might have to move Siakam, but I kind of like what they have. But it's also it just shows you that we need to be active in that trade market. But I mean, what do? Do you go out there and get a Colin Sexton from the Jazz? But the Jazz have been winning games lately. Do you, what do you do? Do you try to get a Kuzma from the Wizards at the end of the year? Do you look at the Bulls and say, hey, let's get Caruso and Drummond? I don't know. Like, Levine's going to be a popular name, and if teams get desperate enough, they will fall for the Zach LaVine trap. And I just don't know if that's something I would want to do. But also, I just want somebody else in there. I want less pressure on Pat Bev. I want less minutes for Paul Reed's not even close to a problem. But we cannot go into the playoffs with Marcus Morris, Daniel House, some of these guys playing 15, 20 minutes in the playoffs. They're going to get eaten alive. We're going to lose those minutes that they play. So, and that's if Embiid's healthy. Like, we know he's not going to be healthy in the playoffs, but we'll see. It's a long season. We're only 35 games in. We have the Hawks tomorrow night. That's probably going to be a tough game. No matter they're 14-21, but there's some games they really show up. DeJounte Murray is on the trade block. That's somebody I saw that we could be interested in. I'm good. But I'm not opposed to getting somebody if it were to happen. We need somebody. We need a move. We got the Kings after that, then the Rockets, Nuggets, Magic. It doesn't get easier. I mean, I know we got the Hornets and Spurs back to back. That should be 2 little layups, but still, we got the Nuggets twice this month. We're gonna go to Golden State at the end of the month. We just need, without Embiid healthy, every game is tough.
Yeah.
So hopefully Maxey can figure it out. Kelly Oubre hasn't been playing well lately. I mean, he's just going to be what he is. He's going to shoot 6 of 6 from 3, and then he's just shoot 1 of 10 from 3. So he's going to average out to be what he is his whole career, like a 32% shooter who doesn't really pass, defend, or do anything else. So, yeah, not the best time to be a Sixers fan, but
I'll continue to say it. I mean, I am intrigued by DeJounte Murray. I do like, excuse me, I like what he could give the team. I just think going a little bit lower than that, I don't know what they could trade for him that the Hawks would say yes to. What are they going to give up? Is it going to, if it's like a Springer and Harris and a couple of picks, then I would do something like that. I think somebody more like a Malcolm Brogdon, guy on a bad team, who's been great for the Celtics. I think he could come in here and help. Doesn't have to be the ball handler, but he can handle the ball. He could come off the bench if you really needed him to. I'm pretty sure he's won 6 Man of the Year at one point in his career. So
I believe he won it over. Was it Rookie of the Year? He won over Dario and Embiid. Was that him? Right, Malcolm Brogdon. Because Embiid didn't play enough games to win the Rookie of the Year award. Surprise, surprise. And then Dario had a decent year, and everyone thought we got robbed because Brogdon won. I thought it was Brogdon, but it could have been somebody else. Either way, I love that. I wish we would have picked up Skylar Mays for like a 10-day contract or something, but the Lakers scooped him up. That's somebody I would have liked to bring as like a secondary ball handler. But, yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know. You're going to need, a couple of these games, you're looking at the stats, you could see Embiid, Maxey, and Oubre are the ones putting up points. And then after that, it falls off from everywhere. No one else is. Yeah. Where's Tobias? Sometimes that guy, you need to put him on a milk carton and find out where he's been. He's just been disappearing sometimes. They're very inconsistent. They've played well at times. They've gotten you excited, and then they remind you why you should be a little bit hesitant or worried about them. But we just need to get Joel needs to get back. I don't care how long it is. They need to make sure he's healthy. But again, you keep him out for maybe a week or two. You come back, and now all of a sudden you're in the 4th or 5th seed, and you're fighting to get back up to where you were, before that. So they have problems. The Sixers are in a little bit of having a little bit of issues right now. But Ty, we got one more thing to talk about of newsworthy note. That is the Flyers trade Cutter Gauthier. Gauthier. I've heard. What's crazy is
I can't believe he's American.
He's Swedish. I don't understand how he's American though. He's born in Sweden.
He was born in Sweden.
That's what I don't understand. Like I guess he's like technically an American citizen.
I thought he was French Canadian.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, he's Swedish and American.
Yeah, he's Swedish American. That's what I'm saying.
Confused. And he goes to Boston College, so you're like, all right, that's confusing.
Yeah, you're like, and then he's on the U.S. National Development Team. You're like, okay,
William Cutter Gauthier.
Yeah, okay, Will. I mean, his name's Will. His name, all right, Will Gauthier. All right, so Cutter, he was traded to the Anaheim Ducks for Jamie Drysdale and a second-round pick that I believe is next season.
Next year.
So it comes out basically that Mr. Gauthier was not going to play for the Flyers, did not want to sign with the Flyers, did not want anything to do with the Flyers. He basically turned his back on the organization. They made multiple attempts to kind of speak to him, reconcile whatever their differences was or issues were. There's so many reports flying that he didn't want to play for Tortorella. He didn't trust the rookie GM and Keith Jones situation, that he wasn't going to involve themselves with that. Then Kevin Hayes was brought into this somehow. Now Kevin Hayes is getting death threats. So it got real.
Which is funny.
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny. Which is so funny because Kevin Hayes' brother. That's not funny.
I was gonna say it's funny just because like it's so random. Like, why are you so mad at him? Like, you should obviously it goes without saying. Like, I guess we have to say that you shouldn't be threatening to kill a hockey player because he got another hockey player traded. Like, get a life, dude. But there are so many wrinkles to this, Ty, that it's like it's hard to figure out what's true and what's not.
Yeah, I mean, even Elliot Friedman, who's basically the Adam Schefter of hockey, even he's kind of confused because I think people are keeping it quiet. There's been rumors. I think the Tortorella rumors have been shut down, even though I wouldn't want to play for him either, I guess. But he's doing a good job this year, right? Can't really be mad at him this year. So I guess it really all came down to him wanting to play last year, and there was a point in time where he did want to play for the team, and he did want to be a Flyer, and he was happy, right? People keep comparing it to, I don't know, other situations. Dude, I saw a list of somebody that made a all-time top 10 or top 15 Philadelphia sports fans hate list or whatever you want to.
That's so
and I saw him on there, and I'm like, why the fuck is he on there? But JD Drew isn't. JD Drew told the team, I'm not coming, bro. Like, no. Don't draft me. Didn't Eric Lindros also tell whoever that was to not draft him, or is that somebody else?
He told the Quebec Nordiques to not draft him, and they drafted him anyway. I think
there you go.
That's the difference, though, Ty. If he would have told the Flyers before, hey, I don't want to play for the Flyers, then we could be mad at ourselves for drafting him. I think the difference is here, like he changed his mind once he got here. Like something happened, and he was just like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to be here. And then the way he handled it afterwards is just going to put... Like, I would put him on the hate list, but he's just not going to be that high. There were some names on there, like Sam Bradford's on there. I'm like, why the fuck do you hate Sam Bradford?
Sam Bradford was here one season, and he was like... Oh, he was okay. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. Like, he was okay.
He was a guy.
And the team he had was not that great. So the fact that he's, like, ahead of Scott Rowland or, Ben Simmons or Carson Wentz, like, give me a fucking break. But... So I guess, what did happen with Cutter Gauthier, I also kind of want to say, like, I feel like it's more of his camp than him. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know if it's the player, the player's father, the player's camp, his agent. Because in hockey and in sports in general, a lot of people have a lot of voices, and they want to exercise their right to defend their client or their son or their brother. And also, during World Juniors, I think it's very... normal for players, top prospects, to kind of be held, not held, but like kind of kept quiet and kind of away from everybody and made unavailable. I think that's a thing that happens. I feel like from what I've read or what I've heard, it's not out of the ordinary for people to not really be able to meet with their prospects at World Juniors. Everybody wants them to focus and whatnot, and so I guess he wanted to play last year, and the Flyers had a overage, right? A bonus, a $1.2 million bonus overage from last season that would have went up extra $212K if Noah Cates made the all rookie team. So I guess they were being careful. They didn't want to risk more overage and charges. And really, if you want to blame anybody for the overages and whatnot, it's the Flyers for giving Rasmus Ristolainen that contract. So you can really blame them for that.
Well,
that was
again,
dumb.
Chuck Fletcher. Let's just say that.
Chuck Fletcher,
the new regime was like trying to
get rid.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The new guys are really having a hard time trying to, scrub the grease that was Chuck Fletcher. But I guess he wanted to play, and they said, well, we don't want you to play because we would go over by 90K. It would add 90K to our overages, which, I mean, come on.
They also didn't want him to play because he wasn't going to probably like they wanted him to develop in college first before he was going to come to the pro. Because what would have happened. Torts was going to try and win right away. He would have probably been soft or trying to learn how to, figure out the NHL life, and they wouldn't have had time for him. They'd have been like, yeah, all right.
But the issue was, they were, seventh in the division? There wasn't really any need or want to win. I don't think he would have been like, oh, we can't play him because we're trying to win and he's going to be bad for us. Maybe he would have sucked. I mean, he was 18, 19, but, I mean, if you look at how good he is, I feel like he would have played a little bit. Mainly, he just wanted to get some experience. And that happens all the time. Players will burn the first year of their ELC just to get a couple games and just to get familiar. And sometimes they'll even sign an AHL tryout, an AHL ATO, just so they can kind of get familiar with the North American and the minor leagues and the NHL and kind of get used to the ice and how different it is and rules wise, and playing with some teammates that you might play with in the future. But I guess he wanted to play. They didn't want him to play, and they said no. And then I guess that must have been what did it. It must have been. I just think that when you end up trading your best prospect because you're worried about a small cap overage coming off a year where you're seventh in division, it just kind of seems like roster just malpractice, roster management wise. All because you signed Rasmus Ristolainen. I don't know, man. I don't know why you would completely ghost the entire organization, especially when it's new faces, right? Like Danny Briere, Keith Jones, these guys are kind of new. You've talked to them a little bit, right? I think May 11th was. Let me go back to this. Yeah. I guess some of this happened before May 11th when Danny Briere and Keith Jones got hired, and then they had a Zoom call with him a couple weeks later on the 28th when they wanted him to sign. So something happened in that range where maybe he wasn't really mad at these two specifically. Maybe it wasn't Danny Briere and Keith Jones. I don't know if they did anything wrong, right? It probably wasn't their call. Maybe it was. I don't know, but he must have been mad at the organization and said, you know what? I'm not playing. Fuck this. His agent said, fuck this, or he told his agent to say fuck this, or he told his dad, or whoever and whatever was the problem. He said, I don't want to play there anymore. I'm not going to play there anymore. Seems very rash. I think we saw it happen recently with fuck's his name? With the Coyotes, Logan Cooley. I think he's still on the Coyotes, but I think something happened along those lines like that. But I don't know. I mean, it just seems very odd. The thing that I really did not love was Danny Briere, Keith Jones going on a smear campaign the next day. I loved it. The very next day. You guys are grown-ass men smearing some 19-year-old kid. I don't know. I think this whole – I saw Danny Carcillo tweet something like, he's not tough enough to be in Philly. He doesn't want to be a Flyer, so he's not going to be a Flyer. Some of that is just a little corny and cringy, but also on the opposite end, I don't understand that from the players' outlook. The contract's not expiring. It's not like he was about to expire this year, so then he can kind of pick where he goes in free agency, like Kevin Hayes. Yeah, it wasn't like that situation. So I truly wonder if there was more to it. It kind of makes me feel a little weird because Briere and Keith Jones came out right away. It seemed like they wanted to be the first ones to comment, and they wanted to plant the seed. Nah, he didn't want to be here, so fuck him. And maybe that's true. Maybe he didn't want to be here at all, and he just told them to go fuck themselves and iced them out completely after one little disagreement. Maybe. I don't know. It just seems a little bit, on both sides, I think it's a little mismanaged.
Ty, all I had to hear was a couple of the stories of them trying to go meet with him in college. Sending like he wouldn't talk to John LeClaire, wouldn't talk to Patrick Sharp, wouldn't talk to any of these guys. I'm pretty sure Danny Briere or but one of these guys went to go visit him at college at one of his practices, and he sent his college coach out of the locker room to tell them that he wasn't going to talk to them. Like, that's insane. Like that. You are a fucking coward. I have no love for this kid whatsoever. Obviously, I shouldn't, but it's just the way he handled this whole situation was horrible. It was horrible. His team, whatever it was, they didn't care though. They just simply did not want to play here. I don't know what their problem was with the city or with the organization or whatever it is. All the different reasons until he comes out and says it himself. I won't believe anything that he has to say or anything that comes out about it. And honestly, I don't believe anything he has to say because he was not man enough to even come out and say it to them. So I think the Danny Briere and Keith Jones, they had to do that though, Ty, because we were, as a fan base, we're going to lose our fucking minds because we have been hyping this kid up for. I mean, we're our fan base that is starving for some young talent. We have been dying on this hill for years now. We haven't had a guy come up that has been, like that highly touted, and it seems like forever. And that kid's over there at the World Juniors tearing it up. So it's like we're all excited. We're retweeting his videos of him scoring these goals, and we're like, dude, I can't wait till Cutter gets here. I was just talking with my boy Corey the other day, saying like, dude, it's gonna be sick when we have him and Mitchkov together. Like hockey's coming back. Like it's here. And then he gets traded. The first instinct of everybody was like, what the fuck are the Flyers doing? Like, why would they trade him? So like they had to come out and say that. I think they did it in the nicest way possible. I think they wanted to be like, fuck that kid, he's a fucking pussy. But they didn't say that. They were just like, well, if you don't want to be a Flyer, then you won't be here. That's just how it goes. So
that's a pretty good one.
Like that, yeah. But I've been doing the Canadian accent for quite some time. But
the Briere one's very, very specific.
The Flyers, they didn't play well. It's like I understand. I get what you're saying though. Like it is a little nuts. But I think in this specific situation, it called for it because that kid put them in a bad spot, man. He really did. He should have and he told. Apparently, they knew this a year ago. So like you said, like the second they got hired, they were like, "Yo, like what's going on?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Nah, dude." They were like basically no. They didn't talk to him. They didn't want anything to do with him. We don't want to be a Flyer. We don't want to play in Philadelphia. Well, is there anything we can do to change that? No answer. Just wanted nothing to do with them. They were going to do the Kevin Hayes thing and wait till, I guess he was going to keep just playing in college. That's what it sounded like the plan was. And then he was just going to go into free agency when the thing runs out. I don't know. But it went about as well. It went about as well as it did. So
now he's on the Ducks with Trevor Zegras, who, by the way, was like inseparable from Jamie Drysdale. So, he even had a quote where he said we pee together, which I thought was a bit much. But
wild.
Hockey culture is a little weird, but
yeah, it is.
Jamie Drysdale was a top 5 pick, unless he was 6 a couple years ago. But
I think he was 6.
He hasn't panned out yet. Again, he's 21, I think, right? So super young. He was on a really fucking bad team with the Ducks. But he played like every game a couple years ago. Didn't play much last year, and I think he might have been hurt. And then this year he's only played 10 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. But it's just a big downgrade prospect wise. Cutter Gauthier has a chance. I saw somebody say, "Well, yeah, they didn't want him anyway. He wanted to play center." I was like, "Bro, that means absolutely nothing." Connor Bedard wants to play center. You think they're going to tell him, "Hey, you can't play center"? They're going to try, and when it doesn't work, they're going to be like, "Yo, we got to switch you to wing." Same thing with Gauthier. I don't know if he could play center. Probably not, but you try and then you put him on the wing. But man, he's like one of the best prospects in hockey right now. Jamie Drysdale, maybe at one point he was, but man, he is not anymore. He's kind of fizzled out. It's not all over for sure. A change of scenery could definitely help. It's helped in hockey for many different players. Maybe less taxes. Maybe he'll like that, right? Because California will tax the shit out you.
Yeah.
Not being with Zegras probably is not great. I'm sure he doesn't love that. But I'm sure he has a little bit more help now around him. Defensively and maybe offensively also. Definitely on a better team. But, and you also get a second round pick, which should be a decently early second round pick next year. But still, I think it's a huge downgrade, right? I think the only reason he went as high as he did in that draft was because there was a lack of defensemen in that draft. It was pretty much all wingers, all forwards, and then you had Amosov, the goalie, who went high. And he was just like one of 2 or 3 defensemen that went top 15-ish, I think, something like that. So, I think I just think it's a big downgrade. Like, you really have to hope Jamie Drysdale pans out and turns into a top 4, top 2 defenseman, or else, I understand all the circumstances. Like, you kind of had to trade the kid, right? Especially while people didn't know that he wanted out, right? Because everybody knew, then nobody would have given up even eventually you give up a 4th round pick, and then you'd be like, wow, we got a 4th round pick for a top 5 prospect. That's not good. So at least you got something, but it doesn't look great from that angle. And, Philly fans, I don't think they're going to get mad at Briere or Keith Jones. You know how Philly fans are. They're going to get behind this regime, and they're going to say, fuck this kid. And he's going to get booed when he comes back. And if he does, we'll see. But I think from a talent perspective, they really lose this deal in a big way. And I think, it's not the best start for the new regime, but I guess their hands were kind of tied. Yeah, I guess their hands were kind of tied. So, I don't really know. There's no win-win here. I think everybody loses, honestly. I think this kid loses tremendously.
I think so, too. I think for Cutter, it would have been a perfect situation for him to step into. I would think that rather than going to Anaheim, who – no one's. I guess it's better to live in California, but no one's really. You're not. Those guys aren't going to be good for a while as well. Like,
yeah, it's going to take a little bit.
They're in the same position that we are, and like you said, like Zegras, they're already talking about him maybe getting moved. Like, he's the next guy that they're kind of just like cleaning house over there, and that they might just Rangers,
Crazy.
Flyers, like all these different teams, like all these different websites and stuff are like, well, maybe he could get traded next. Like, even reputable sources are talking about that. So. I don't know if that's what he's still young. A lot of these guys are young. I don't know if that's exactly the move. But like you said, that guy was, best buddies with Drysdale. He was holding his sword while he was taking a leak. So it's allegedly. So who knows? But it's a shame that the Flyers were put in this position. It really is. It's upsetting that we don't get to see Cutter here in Philadelphia when we were so excited about him, for this past year. But I don't think he would have. If this is his mentality and he was this scared to even talk to people, then I don't think it would have worked out here anyway. He may wind up being a great player, but it's more than just being a great player, being a professional athlete. You have to deal with a certain level of scrutiny. Now, maybe in Anaheim, I don't even know who reports on hockey in Anaheim. I don't know.
Not many people.
Yeah, what the deal is. I don't know. I really don't even know, but. It's here in Philly, it's a little bit more intense, I guess, than it would have been there. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it was just more of his management or team just making a bigger deal out of something than it needed to be, and it just kind of snowballed. And they, instead of hey, let's all meet, let's get to the table, let's talk about this, it just got worse and worse and worse. I don't know. I can't wait to hear the true story of what happened.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see if somebody else played a part. Well, his dad, his mom, his brother, his cousin, his agent.
Kevin Hayes. That's what they keep saying.
Kevin Hayes, the Boston College head coach.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Somebody. I'm not even saying it's one of them. I'm just saying, I want to know what the actual, straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing was. Like, what made him not want to come here? Was it the fact that they want that bonus overage thing? Okay, I still don't get it, but I can at least understand it from in an aspect. I just right now it makes no sense if it's just I didn't like the all the different reports are just people guessing. I didn't like the coach. Yeah. I didn't like the rookie GM. That's basically what it was, rookie GM. That's not Danny Briere. A guy who's played in the biggest games and that hockey has to offer. It's just rookie GM. Okay. But I just I do like Ty. One more thing before we wrap this up is I like how united the Philadelphia fan base became in hatred towards Mr. Cutter Gauthier. It reinvigorated this fan base.
You knew they were going to rally against the kid, even if it's not the kid's fault. So, I don't know. Nobody knows. Even if Elliot Friedman doesn't know, I fucking don't know. So yeah. I'd like to reserve a little bit of judgment, but it looks bad on both sides. It kind of reminds me of when guys, when baseball front offices keep players in the minor leagues to delay their service time so they don't have to pay him as much and keep going arbitration year, like the Cubs did with Chris Bryant, which was just insane. They didn't want to call him up. They're like, yeah, we'll put him in AAA. And he's hitting like 650. It's like, bro, so maybe it's like this. They don't want to burn. They want to kind of delay. They want to delay his RFA and UFA statuses by a year, costing him possibly millions of dollars. So I think it's just mismanagement on both sides. They fucked up. They lost a prospect. He fucked up. He lost an opportunity, and now he's kind of in a bad light. Now he's in Anaheim. Maybe that team is a complete dumpster fire. They already are a complete dumpster fire. Maybe the Flyers are ready to compete next year or in 2 or 3 years. So he, I think, lost out on a chance there, and now he's being vilified all over the city. Even other fans are making him out to be the bad guy. So that's where he fucked up. That's where his camp fucked up. And I think the Flyers camp fucked up. So everybody fucked up in this. Maybe it was the old Flyers regime. Maybe it wasn't really as much. Maybe the new regime came in and who knows? I don't even want to try to guess and act like I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I don't. So just an all-around messy situation. I am always in the belief that these are young kids and, they're weird, right? In college recruiting, I think there's always weirdness going on, but you got to know that. And from a higher-up perspective, a front office perspective, you got to just try to do what you can to keep these guys. But I guess there was just no keeping him in this situation. So, what can you do? You can't just let him walk like the Blackhawks let Kevin Hayes walk, and I'm still mad at him for that. So I guess I'm not really one to talk about forgiving a kid. So
yeah, it's just that when you get drafted though, you can't get that back. You can't put that, you can't bottle that back up. It's you screwed us. Whether whoever was right or wrong, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you really did screw us, and it's hard for us to kind of get back from that, bounce back from that, and hopefully this Drysdale kid turns into a competent, sort of power play guy. Like I've heard a lot of different explanations of what he could bring to the team. I'll be excited. At least he's a guy who can help them this season right now. So yeah, that's the one positive, but. This is going to be a continuing story, and the hatred for Mr. Cutter is going to continue. Mr. William Gauthier is going to continue to go. So, Ty, on that note, I think we should get out of here. I think we did a great service to the people today. A nice hour, 21 minutes of hockey content, football content, basketball content. I almost said soccer. I was like, we did not talk about soccer.
Well, football.
Mbappe, let's see him in Liverpool. But there you go.
Yeah.
Other than that, Ty, it has been an honor. We will be back later on this week. Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. Finally,
we're back, baby.
The UFC is back. We have a
We're
card.
starting off year hot.
Yeah.
This card's honestly decent. I kind of looked at it today. I was like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. I can fuck with this.
Manel Kopp's getting in there. He's one of everyone's favorite fighter. He is a big supporter of the LGBTQ movement. So there you go. So my name is Matt McSweeney.
I'm Ty Capone.
And ladies and gentlemen, as always, please, if you tell somebody something like, hey, yeah, I would be honored to be a Flyer, make sure you stick to your word and be a man about it.